know we must learn to stand together, learn to live together, learn it's not forever. I know. Let's see.
All right, we are here. I am here. Justin's here.
Hello.
It's the middle. Politics and profanity. We're going to be talking fucking news, fucking politics, fucking whatever, because we are not NPR. We have riding shotgun the Chewbacca to my Han Solo. Here's Justin. Back on the other side of the glass, pushing buttons and playing with his knobs, is Ryan at the controls. And today we got a fuckload of things that have happened this week. This has been the absolute most crazy, and like every fucking
so
week.
So much for the summer doldrums.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, John McCain at least had the decency to go ahead and die on the weekend, so that like come Monday we could just keep on going with
you had all the commentators
program.
doing real shit. So now we can wait till Monday.
Right, that's exactly it. Oh, son of a bitch. So let's start with that. So John McCain.
That was actually really well timed, his death. You're right.
He did it.
It's not going to impact the news cycle, and
he had his weekend to himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Of course, the press had to go ahead and report on the one fucking tweet that Trump sent out, sending condolences.
Yeah.
That's so useful. He got to the mix somehow.
Good thing we know that he has condolences.
Who cares?
Nobody.
The moment he said the guy's not a hero because I like my heroes not to get captured. Fuck you.
The people who care most are the anchors making the paycheck to report on it.
Yeah, well, I saw guys
They're
like tearing up.
They're the pinnacle of the caring,
right.
And that's a problem.
Right, but I saw guys like tearing up, man, and I'm watching some of the stuff when they're talking about, his life, his career, the things that happened to him. Besides getting shot down and being a prisoner of war.
Yeah,
he had a couple of other pretty close brushes with death before he got to that point.
Right.
So I mean, he was when he was first training as an airman, as a naval aviator, he crashed his plane into the ocean, but he didn't know how to pop the canopy.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
It was a model that he hadn't flown before, very much, and he had to like kick the fucking canopy out to get out of the plane before it sunk.
Okay.
And then, he kind of that was like a sobering reality. Like, hey, I better stop because he was a heavy drinker. He was out carousing.
Okay.
He graduated 5th from the bottom
well,
out of the Naval Academy.
I mean, at the time, that's the standard for military men, I believe.
Dude, you're a jet jockey. You're a speed freak.
Even if you're on the deck, just preparing the plane, you're fucking going nuts.
So that was part 2.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that he was on the USS Forrestal. I don't know if you know the Forrestal is the aircraft carrier off of Vietnam running bombing missions. That one of the planes caught fire on the deck of the aircraft carrier, and it set off one of its missiles.
Right.
It launched it into another plane.
Yeah.
John McCain was in that plane.
Oh shit!
The one that got hit with the rocket.
Okay.
So he had to jump out. The whole thing exploded.
Yeah.
And then all the planes on the deck went up. It made a huge hole into the deck of the aircraft carrier. That all this lit gasoline just fell down the hole into the decks below and set the whole fucking thing on fire.
Right.
160 sailors were killed.
Uh-huh.
And he made it out with just shrapnel on his leg.
Whoa.
So brush with death number 2.
Yeah.
Less than a year later, he's flying a bombing mission, his 23rd bombing mission over North Vietnam, over Hanoi. And his A4 got hit.
How old was he?
He was 32, I think, 31, 32.
Because my dad was also in the Navy during Vietnam, but he's much younger than McCain. Not much younger, but only by 10 years. Like he was in his 20s.
Okay.
Whereas I guess McCain was in his 30s.
Yeah, he was about 30, 31. He served during 67. I think 67 to early 68, because then they got shot down and he did the next
captured.
5 years. He wasn't released until 73.
Right.
Now, his dad was a 4-star actor.
Yeah, he was a big deal, and they wanted to release him, but he said no.
That's exactly right. He said, no, you know what? The military code of conduct says that the guys get released in the order that they were captured.
Right.
And there's about a dozen guys ahead of me,
He's
so
like,
no.
fuck that, yeah.
Now, remember, these guys are hanging him backwards from his fucking arms from the ceiling, which is why he could never lift his arm above his shoulder again the rest of his life.
Yep.
I mean, they were breaking his bones. They were sending in 5, 6 guys at a time to beat him while he was sleeping.
Any one of these things is worthy of, this guy...
Undying respect for the way he stood up and was an American, a true American hero?
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, he did get captured. while bombing the shit out of fucking our enemy.
While winning.
Right, you know what I mean?
Does that get through to you?
Right, dousing fucking villages and cities with napalm.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't holding back, man. He was a fucking warrior, and he got shot down. Hey, you know, I can't even imagine the dumpster fire that we have as president. You know, I can imagine him like having a shit fit getting a paper cut.
Yeah, you remember the picture of him when he's in his 30s on the bed with the roses?
With the little kimono on and shit.
Yeah, that
Sexy.
guy's going to be bombing anything anytime soon.
So he passed and the thing came on. I was like, oh man, that's fucked. But you know, I mean, we knew it was coming. We knew it was going to happen. It was
I'm glad like the shit with him kind of died down for his last few weeks. You know, like he needs some fucking peace before he went out.
It was just 2 weeks ago when his buddies in the Senate, they did him honor and they named the military spending bill after him. And then fucking Trump goes to a military base and won't say the guy's name.
Right.
I mean, they literally had it in this teleprompter, the John McCain, blah, 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 military defense budget, you know, bill, and he wouldn't say it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He wouldn't say it.
Shit. Dude.
He's that much of a fucking prick that he wouldn't even give the guy his due.
Yeah.
And what did McCain do? He tweeted like, hey, I'm honored that my colleagues in the Senate would name a bill after me.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, fuck you, you low-life piece of shit.
He's always been a class act, that McCain, you know?
To me, the defining moment, and we were talking earlier, me and Ryan, the defining moment of all those things that he's done in his life, all those brushes with death, all those moments that he stood up and was an honorable man, one of the most honorable moments I ever saw out of him as a politician was during that rally in 2008 when he was running against Barack Obama, and that old woman stood up and said, can't trust Obama because he's an Arab. And he shook his head no. And he took the microphone back and he said, no, ma'am, he's not. He's a good family man, a citizen. He just has policies and that I disagree with.
Right. Yeah, that was a fucking awesome move.
Probably cost him the presidency.
I was in college when that election was going on, and I remember thinking to myself at the time, everyone around me is going Obama. So being a young kid, my immediate reaction is to do the opposite of everyone else. So I'm looking for reasons to like McCain, and he's throwing him out there. It's not like he was a bad candidate by any means. And it was very clear why Obama was getting support from people, you know? Like it was clearly a race thing. It was clearly he's a young guy. We haven't had this before. It's time. So then McCain gets largely ignored. I thought that was a disservice.
But even in his own party,
war hero.
I think that moment, that was the moment when the Republican base was ready for a guy to stand up there and ask for the birth certificate, to call him an Arab, to say he's Muslim, to say he started ISIS. His middle name is Hussein, and they wanted that.
Oh my God,
but they had to wait 8 more years for it.
Right. That's so insane that he starts the fucking birther movement and then 8 years later takes over for the guy.
Right.
Like that validates a ridiculous piece of reality television that is our politics.
So you could see in the crowd when he says it, you can hear the smattering of applause after he defends the guy and say, no, he's an honorable man. We're just running against each other for, you know, the highest office in the land. But no, he's not an Arab. They're like, oh.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's fucking crazy, but that was the beginning of it.
Yeah. Those are the first notions you see of where they're going. Yeah.
Now, he always knew it.
Yeah.
He hated the Christian right.
Yeah.
He knew that they were going to be the downfall of the party that he loved.
Because there's willful ignorance there.
Of course.
And willful ignorance led to Trump.
Right. Hey, look.
Essentially.
Let me, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. We never talked about it before. But if somebody who believes in a sky person who lives in the sky and watches everything you do, you have a fucking mental illness.
Right.
That's not something that's a good thing.
There's a place and there is goodness that comes out of that. Sometimes.
Right.
You know, not often, especially in modern times.
Right.
But you have to have a nuanced understanding even of ridiculous stuff like that. And if you can't, which is the Christian right, if there's an inflexibility there, there is. You have
the Bible is the literal word of God.
That is a deficiency in your ability to reason as a human.
Right.
Like you're not connecting with something that you can see with your eyes. You're connecting with something you're making up in your mind.
Right. And what's worse is you're connecting with something that somebody who wants to manipulate you made up in their mind.
Exactly. Like you're losing in the situation and you're not smart enough to realize
it. And you're like, give me more, please.
Yeah.
Tell me more of how I suck, how I'm going to burn in eternal hellfire if I don't do... Tell me what it is I need to do today.
Yeah, that weakness is what is the problem with humanity. Like there's this, and other people preying on it, and that's how we get shit like this.
So now add that to politics and government, and you get Iran.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you know, these guys all are, oh, goddamn Sharia law in America. It's like, well, is that any different if we went under Christian law?
Right.
I mean, is that where we're heading? We're going to have the thought police. In Iran, they have the morality police.
Yeah.
They go around smacking women with fucking sticks and stuff.
Just insanity.
Because their headscarf's not on properly.
Right. Just the smallest of infractions. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, how are you justifying this as a single individual, first of all?
Right.
Like, what club did you join up and sign? Like, did you put a fucking blood contract on the line? Like, what's going on here, guy?
Yeah, man. Iranian morality police is like they're like the cops on a beach in Coney Island in 1918.
Yeah.
Like if a woman showed ankle, it's like, oh, ma'am, you're gonna have to leave the beach.
Yeah, they got the billy clubs out. Let's get her out of here, boys.
That is disgraceful. God almighty. So John McCain, you know, when I was, I'm older than you, obviously. So back in 2000, I was an independent. Okay. Up until I came down here to Florida in 2000. And I decided this was after the whole Bill Clinton blowjob nonsense, which is
2 years of fucking nonsense.
Right.
I remember that.
Kind of germane to what's going on today.
Right.
So at the time, I was like, you know what? Fuck those assholes. I'm going to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
Because I was young, and I said, like, yeah, everybody else is telling me this guy's bad for getting a blowjob. Yeah. Fuck that. She was old enough to say no. Yeah. She didn't.
Really, I think what it comes down to is your innate sense that what everyone else is doing could be wrong, and you're just trying to develop that sense.
It's like by the time you see that JCPenney is selling some kind of fashion, it's already out of style by the time those guys have butchered it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a Democrat. Well, tough first election to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
Because the 2000 election was the Al Gore, George Bush hanging Chad election in Florida.
Right.
So I moved down here, I become a Democrat, and I vote in that fucking mess.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Wait, are you telling me that everybody in America is going to believe that a 49-1 shot happened?
Yeah.
That out of all the states that this guy could have had a recount, the only state that had a recount was the one that his brother's the governor of.
Right.
A 49-1 shot.
That is a ridiculous thing.
That's a pretty long shot, dude.
Yeah. And isn't it that the Republicans lost, it's either 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8 of the popular vote in the last 7 out of 8 elections, or 6 out of 8 elections?
Besides, like, when, Dewey wins,
right?
The only two people who won the popular vote but didn't win the presidency were Al Gore and Hillary Clinton.
Right.
It's only in the last 18 years.
Oh, shit.
So you know that across the country, the whole thing has changed because most of the states are run by Republicans, like the state of Florida that we're in. And so they gerrymandered all the districts so that they can keep themselves, even if you have a candidate who is overwhelmingly better than the other candidate, a Democrat over a Republican.
That's not the game.
He still can't win.
Right. That's
he
not how it
still
works.
cannot win.
Right.
You can literally have guys under indictment.
And the complexity of that is so not taught. Like, you talk about missing information for
people
the
don't
general
even pay
public.
attention.
It's not even close.
It's like, Republicans are winning because they're right, because they're good.
Like, they don't even give a shit about the mechanics.
They're not winning because they're good. They're winning because they cheat.
Right.
And the worst part about that is all the things that they cheat on and all the things that they're allowing this president to do. They don't realize, hey, you know what? You're setting the precedent for everybody in the future, including Democratic presidents.
Right.
So maybe you should think about this before you get too deep in the hole. But anyway, so John McCain was running at that year for the first time for president. And had George W. Bush not beat him, I would have voted for John McCain.
Yeah.
Even though I had registered as a Democrat, I would have voted for John McCain over Al Gore. I didn't really think that much of a big deal about Al Gore, but John McCain, I was like, he's a serious dude. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you know what they did to him? They used like all the push poll tactics. They called up, like in South Carolina, he won New Hampshire. Okay. And South Carolina was like the break point. If he won that, he probably would have gone on to be the nominee, John McCain.
Right.
But George W. Bush's people used South Carolina, calling up everybody. If you knew that Senator John McCain fathered a black child out of wedlock, would you be more likely, less likely, or just as likely to vote for him? And people were like, what? Because he has a young girl that he adopted from Bangladesh.
Oh.
He has an adopted daughter. Oh. She's dark-skinned.
Okay.
So George W. Bush's people started calling all the voters in South Carolina
Wow, that is sneaky.
And so he lost South Carolina.
Wow.
And then George W. Bush took the lead, got the RNC behind him, and that was the end of the story for him.
Holy shit.
Right.
That's
think
incredible.
of the things that changed.
Yeah.
What would have? I'm not saying John McCain would have prevented 9/11, but when you had somebody whose whole entire career has been built on service in defense of his country,
Right.
and spent his entire political career in being on the Armed Services Committee and being heavily involved in the military and defense spending abroad.
George Bush is that thing.
He-
That's
dude.
it. He is the Iraq War. He is 9/11. Like, that's it. That's what he is. Like, he's the representation of the leadership at that time.
People used to say, "Oh, he's keeping us safe."
Yeah.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, like, there's
That
no...
ship sailed in September. So, John McCain, you're a good guy. You almost had my vote. I'm sorry that you're not around. To me, it really feels like the beginning of the end of any possibility of civility in politics.
Oh, yeah.
Now that John McCain is gone.
You're right. Yeah, that floor, like, because he was the one who would try to stand up. He was the one who would block something at the very end. He was the senator you look to for that little bit of order.
That's why they call him
And
the Maverick.
Yeah, yeah.
He always went against his own party on things that he believed in.
That name Maverick is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it always reminds me of the little Top Gun.
Yeah.
All right. So we've had a whole shitload of stuff happen this week. I mean, it seems like 18 years ago, but just Tuesday rather, we had Michael Cohen
Yep.
walk
The
into
guilty
a federal
plea.
district court and plead guilty to 8 felonies.
Yep.
So he ain't a lawyer no more.
Right. So when your lawyer is pleading guilty to stuff, does that mean that you most likely did something wrong?
Well,
and on top of that, do you like when a normal employee at a business lies, cheats, or steals, they get fired immediately.
Right.
There's no recourse.
Right.
You're just out.
Right.
Why is that not true for people in politics?
Because it's
That is so fucked.
They'll tell you every time. Well, the American people have spoken.
Right.
Was what the White House always
That answer
said.
essentially means, oh, well, we don't actually have rules. What we have is a popularity contest, not just for the presidency, but for every piece of legislation and law. Like, this isn't a rules thing. This is a influence game.
And we don't even have to be popular today. We only have to be
Yeah.
popular once every 4 years.
Right. Right.
So I can be a complete douchebag for the 3 years in between, and then completely
fuck the whole
make you
world.
forget about the rest of the
Yeah.
douchebaggery and make you vote for me again.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, I'll just rig all the districts to make sure that I wind up getting the electoral college votes, even if I don't win all the popular votes and I don't win the
He's like,
popularity
fuck that
contest.
game. Yeah, we're not going for the popular.
Right, because
We're
that's
going-
where we're at now.
Yeah.
That's what it's become. So he walked in, he pled guilty to 8. He implicated the President of the United States of America as his co-conspirator in one of those felony charges.
Which was campaign finance?
Yeah, which is directing him to make illegal campaign payments to these porn star and the Playboy
All right,
playmate.
so now with regards to those payments, do you think that there is a case to be made that that's not campaign finance?
No, it's completely campaign finance
You think?
violation. Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that you're doing it at somebody's directing somebody else to do it for him,
Yeah.
that's a conspiracy.
Right. So there it is. Those are the 2 felonies.
All you need is more than one person,
Yeah.
and somebody has to do anything or say anything to further
Because the argument
the
from,
agreement.
right. So the argument from the right is he has a history of making payoffs to women even before the presidency. So that gives him precedent to say this isn't campaign finance. I would have done it anyway, which is the legal crux of the situation.
Which would be one way to explain it if
Yeah.
it didn't happen a week and a half before the election.
Right.
Had it
the
happened
outset
3,
of it is
5,
very
6 months
obvious.
earlier.
Well, right. And then I forget who it was. One of the agency heads was like, the standard is, would you have done it anyway?
Right.
Like, would you have paid this girl off if you weren't running for president?
Right.
And then, like, you're doing it a week before this election. Like, clearly answers no. But, like, then you can make that bullshit argument.
Right.
This car salesman play, essentially, like, oh, well, I've been doing this all along. It just
Right.
happens to go along with this time.
But
Like,
of course, the reality is that when it comes to those kinds of things,
it's directly related to the campaign.
you got to make those arguments in a courtroom,
Yeah.
not on Twitter.
Right. And that's what it is. Yeah.
So that's the way that justice works for the other 325 million of us.
Exactly. Why is the guy at CVS getting fired for stealing his chapstick?
Right. Well, exactly that.
Yeah.
Why this shitbag is just,
Right.
just the
why
worst
is,
piece of garbage.
the guy at Publix getting fired because he had an affair with the deli girl.
So Cohen walked in on the same day that Paul Manafort, the former campaign chairman, he got convicted of 8 felony counts.
Right.
His CFO of the Trump organization, Alan Weisselberg, has been given immunity to say anything he needs to say. Oh, you committed a crime? Don't worry about it. You're immune now. Just tell us everything you know.
We just need everything.
I'm sure there's completely no crimes in the Trump organization.
Right.
The guy's been making his living off of laundering Russian mob money for 30 years. And then...
What a shitty country to ally with, by the way.
Yes.
Like, he could have... Any other country probably would have been better.
China.
Yeah.
Someone with a real economy.
Like, where they have free light shows every night and 1 billion people with a booming, like they're fucking trying to do shit.
Yeah.
Russia, on the other hand, is like an old dad in the fucking atrium just hanging out with vodka, like screaming at the television.
He's like the old man. It's like, I'm never getting rid of my rotary phone.
Yeah, like, fucking, really? You chose Russia? Like, do you think they're up there?
He's got such... And you know what it is? Because we all know he's a 4-year-old.
Yeah. The life expectancy of a male adult in Russia is lower than North Korea. That's all you need to know about Russia.
Yeah, man, and they eat dog. Maybe that's what's helping North Koreans.
Come on, man.
It's the dog.
Get your shit together.
So you know he's a 4-year-old. So you know that he harkens back to like when, the better times. So when he was a kid, the Russians, in his mind, were the equals of America. Right. It was America versus Russia.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he only wants to be, everything he has. It's like, that's good, but gold-plated.
Yeah.
Because that makes it even better.
Which is what the Russians did.
Right. So it was like, anything that they did over
you
his
look at
lifetime
Russian
when he was a
oligarchs
kid.
and old royalty, it looks pretty similar to his style.
So
like, pretty fucking close.
He was so proud to have his Miss Universe contest there.
Right? Like, Jesus Christ.
It's like you could have it literally anywhere in the universe.
Yeah.
And Moscow was where you're happy to have it. Fucking moron. Yeah. Then we have AMI, the head, the publisher of the National Enquirer, his buddy and lifelong pal, who did all the catching and killing.
Safe.
Yeah. So Pecker is the guy's name. He's got immunity to testify as well. And then, as if all of this wasn't enough, we find out, and I wondered what happened to this story because Ronan Farrow came out something like last year about the doorman at the Trump World Tower.
Yeah, I remember reading about
and
this.
And the guy wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
But now apparently something happened, I guess maybe because Pecker's flipping and he's been given immunity, where they redid his deal, and now he's acknowledging that he was paid $30,000 to not talk about the housekeeper that Trump knocked up and has a baby with.
Shit. Yeah. There it is.
What else? I mean, you've got from soup to nuts, you've got laundering money for the mob, winning the presidency by having a foreign power help him. You've got all these fucking women that he's fucked while his wife was home giving birth. He has another one that he has a child with.
Wait, so you say wife. Like, is she his wife or is she just a prisoner?
She, from what we understand, from what most people think and say, is that she's just waiting for him to, like we all are.
Yeah.
Just waiting for him to be not president anymore.
Right.
Like the federal marshals are waiting for him to not be president anymore. People want to talk about how you can't indict a sitting president. Right. Statute of limitations on these crimes are not done when he's done being president.
Oh, for sure.
So the second he's done being president, federal marshals will be there to cuff him and haul him off to the hoosegow, hold up the plate with your numbers on it, and get your fucking mugshot.
He'll pardon himself.
Hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how many times he wants to say it, he can pardon himself. Just like he said the other day, he could take over the Mueller investigation. Yeah. No, you totally couldn't.
No, that's not at all how that works.
Right. That's not, right. Counterpoint. No, you can't.
No.
So he had a fuck of a week, and then on top of it, we have the John McCain at the end of the week. Like I said, he had the decency to die over the weekend so that we can get back to all this goodness
Madness.
on Monday.
We don't want to miss any tweets.
Right.
Yeah.
The other great guy we have this week, who I just love this fucking story, Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter.
Okay.
You know this guy?
No, tell me about this.
So Duncan Hunter is congressman from California. Was a Marine, served in
Democrat?
I think Iraq or Afghanistan, one or the other.
Okay.
Became a congressman. He got a little bit of fame because...
Where in California, do you know?
Yeah, not sure. I mean,
Okay, anyway,
so big.
yeah.
He got a little notoriety because he was the congressman who got caught vaping during a congressional hearing.
Oh.
He's like in his 30s.
Yeah.
So, turns out...
Listen, I vape.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, when you vape, you'll vape in your house because it doesn't smell anything.
Right.
You can vape in different areas than you can smoke. And when you get used to that, sometimes you just have the habit of...
Yes, you'll be in like a
you're not even
supermarket and be
paying
like
fucking attention.
vaping.
Right, in the middle of the
Like,
aisle. And you're like,
maybe I
wait a
shouldn't do
second. Oops.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, worse than that, he turns out that him and his wife, allegedly, because I don't want Jack to get sued, that he wound up, him and his wife, using, I think it was over $800,000 or $900,000 of campaign funds to travel to Italy, to get dental work,
Okay.
clothing,
Well, with $900,
jewelry,
you can afford the American
a car.
Fucking Christ. Jesus.
I mean, so they literally, from what they have, they shown is that they've literally maxed out all their credit cards.
Oh.
They've overdrawn their bank account like 1,300 times in the past year.
Nice. Okay.
And they've been paying themselves out of campaign funds to pay for everything that this kid's schools.
That literally sounds like the most American way to run your finances ever.
Right. Don't tell me I can't afford it. I'm American.
Fuck you. I'll buy everything right now.
I'll take this at 21.9%, put it on 6 easy payments.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
kids will handle that debt. Don't worry about all that.
So they got him. They indicted them both. They wound up showing up separately
Oh, nice.
to their court appearance.
Okay.
You're like, well, why are they showing up separately, the husband and wife?
That's a little
That's
weird.
strange.
Yeah.
Until you start reading the court documents about some of the campaign funds that he used for hotel rooms.
Oh. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
one of them,
What a way to
individual
find out.
one, was named as a, quote, close personal friend of his wife.
Yeah.
So he goes on TV.
CPF.
He goes on Fox News.
It's the CPF file on Donald Trump.
Exactly. So this guy, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So he goes on the Fox News and he says, well, my wife used to take care of my finances when I was over in Iraq, and that continued when I came back over here and Congress, and so whatever she did, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I'm like, dude, did you just literally throw your wife under the bus for campaign? You're the fucking
In the worst
congressman.
way, too. That's basically saying, oh, yeah, my wife was the alpha.
Right.
I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, whatever my wife did,
I was
don't
just
know.
a bitch in the situation.
I don't know what this is all about.
Fuck you, dude.
So I mean, what a fucking nice guy. So he says, this is the government, the U.S. government. The U.S. government can do whatever it wants. They're doing this to Donald Trump, and now they're doing it to me. It's like, well, first of all, you're a Republican congressman in a Republican House of Representatives.
Yes.
With a Republican Senate,
Yep.
a Republican president,
Yep.
and arguably a Republican Supreme Court.
Right.
You've got the Republicans in charge of almost every state in the union.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about that the U.S. government, like he's trying to detach himself from being a part of the machine that is, in charge of justice
Yeah.
for people who break the law.
Right.
And it's like, dude, Trump is barely getting away with that. Nobody knows who you are. You're not getting away with that.
Yeah, there's no... That's what it is. When you ask, why does the normal employee get fired and the politicians don't? It's because when the rules don't apply the same way. And the people who have the more money, that have that influence, are on the top. If the Senate is taken over by Republicans, those are the people who are making the standards. Yeah, that's what you're voting for.
Yeah, that's what you're
voting for that fucking standard. Now you're saying, okay, well, if you have enough money, laws don't apply to you, and that's so crazy.
Now I understand. Look, I'm sympathetic. It's hard to eke by on $174,000 a year.
Yeah.
Fucking douchebag. All right, man, we're gonna play this game show I came up with. It's you're gonna be my only contestant, Justin. It's called Who Said It?
All right.
We're going to be. Here's my game show music. Okay, crank that up, big boy. Yeah, we got my little logo. Who said that? All right, so we're going to be coming up with some quotes, and you're going to have to guess who said it. You got either Hitler,
Okay.
Donald Trump,
Yep.
or Lex Luthor.
Nice.
All right? And just to be
Love
fair,
comics.
the Lex Luthor quotes are the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor and the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor, who is quite honestly my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Him and
No,
Otis.
you can't even touch Gene Hackman.
He was awesome.
Yeah, I know at the time I liked Spacey as an actor, but he did not take that role well enough.
Well, now that we all know a little bit more about him,
Yeah,
he's
it's a
less
little-
likable.
it's a little easier.
Would you be more likely, less likely, or just as likely to vote for him? How do we want to do this, Ryan? You want to just throw a quote up there? Let's throw a quote up there and see what we get.
Yep.
We're doing this completely at random, nothing pre-planned, because let's be honest, our budget's $5. Without passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing. This is either Hitler, Lex Luthor, or Donald Trump. It's not going to be easy. These are not going to be easy.
Luther.
Passion. Lex Luthor, he says. Who do we got? Who said it?
Ooh.
Oh, you're getting the buzzer, man.
Damn.
It was Donald J.
Okay.
Trump. Without
All right.
passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing. I'm sure somebody wrote that for him.
Yeah. That does not.
Sure, that was
sound
one of his
like
ghostwriters.
rhetoric at all.
All right, here we go. Here's a good one. Universal education is the most corroding and disintegrating poison that liberalism has ever invented for its own destruction.
Trump.
He says Trump. What do we got? Oh, wrong again. It was Hitler.
Okay.
That's awesome. All right, so we got that. We got this one. What do we got next? We will seek friendship and goodwill with the nations of the world, but we do so with the understanding that it is the right of all nations to put their own interests first.
Trump.
He says it's Trump.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you got one, man. All right.
All right.
All right. What do we got next,
I
right?
saw selfishness and I was like, I got this one.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So I guess some of them will be. All right, here we go. What separates the winners from the losers is how a person reacts to each new twist of fate.
That sounds more like Lex Luthor. I don't think Trump or Hitler would use fate.
All right, so we've got Lex Luthor's final answer. Oh, swing and a miss. It is Donald
it's
J.
fucking
Trump.
him. That's a nice picture.
I like him sneering. That's the Trump I like.
I love the opening to the new Sacha Baron Cohen thing. It has a lot of great clips of Trump where it's just
Yeah, man. There's so many of them. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's endless.
All right, hit me again.
What we got, right? All right. Nobody wants war. I just want to keep the threat alive.
Hitler.
He says Hitler. Oh, that'd be Lex Luthor.
Okay.
All right. It's not as easy as it looks, kids, if you're playing along at home. It's always good to be underestimated.
That's Luthor.
Lex Luthor, he says. Oh, Donald J. Trump.
It's a tough game.
A tough game, right? Doesn't it?
So similar.
Doesn't it give you like a shudder of electricity to be in the same room with me?
Oh,
Ooh. Ooh.
Trump.
He says Trump. It's Lex Luthor.
The other
Oh,
villain.
man. Oh, man. Oh, man. It does sound something like Trump would say.
It does.
We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example for everyone to follow.
Oh. Yeah, that's Trump.
He says it's Trump, and he's right on the money.
Yeah.
If any human being were going to perpetrate such a fantastic hoax, it would have been me. If any human
Trump?
being. He says Trump.
Who's
And
that?
it's Lex Luthor, the Gene Hackman.
Okay. Nice, much better.
Sometimes by losing a battle, you find a new way to win the war.
Hitler.
He says Hitler. Oh,
Trump.
it's Donald J. Trump.
Oh, that was okay. I remember him saying that one actually.
The Roman Empire ruled the world because they built roads. The British Empire ruled the world because they built ships. America, the atom bomb, and so on and so forth.
Is that why? Trump?
He says Trump.
That's Hitler.
Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Oh, shit, man. You see, whoever controls technology controls
That's
the world.
Lex Luthor.
He says Lex Luthor.
Or maybe, actually, that could be Hitler, too, because he was big in his time. Yeah. Who is that?
It is Lex Luthor.
He had both. He said Lex Luthor first.
Yeah.
Great liars are also great magicians.
Ooh,
Oh, son of a bitch.
Trump.
He says Trump.
Damn. Who said that?
It is Hitler.
Wow.
Great
Wow, I
liars.
like that. That's a nice.
Also, great magicians. Humanitarianism is the expression of stupidity and cowardice.
Oh, that's Trump.
He says Trump.
That's definitely Trump. No, fuck.
It's Hitler.
Hitler.
Oh,
Shit.
shit, man. All right, we'll do a couple more. What do we got? If you win, you need not have to explain. If you lose, you should not be there to explain.
Trump.
He says Trump.
Damn,
Oh, no.
fucking
It's
Hitler,
Adolf.
Hitler again. God damn.
We've got a couple more to go. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone.
I know.
We did that
I
one.
think we've done this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nope, we did that one too.
Yeah.
Why don't we throw up...
I think we're out.
Oh.
We got like one more.
I got billions. Billions once again.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that one.
Yeah.
Did that one.
Yeah, no, we've done all of them
All
except
right,
for
man. Well, I'm going to be honest, man.
this one.
You got two.
Oh.
How about this one? Yeah, the victim will never be asked if he told the truth.
It's true. Lex Luthor.
He says Lex Luthor.
Damn.
Oh,
Hitler. Shit.
it is Hitler. So you're stuck on
Well,
two.
Superman was fighting Nazis, so.
Yeah, Captain America was fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. That was good, man. That was like I said, it wasn't going to be easy.
Distinguish between those three.
It's tough, and that's some shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to distinguish between quotes from Donald Trump, Adolf Hitler,
Yeah.
and a fictional villain
Supervillain.
from comic strips,
Yeah.
Lex Luthor. That's amazing. But that's where we're at in this world. So that was our game show. Who said that? Let's go hop into the tweets of the week. So, you know, on Twitter, there's the whole hashtag resistance crowd, of which Ronnie Wright is a member. So I like to go ahead and get some of the resistors involved and feature some tweets of the week. We've got, look, about a half a dozen of them. Just go ahead and throw one up, whatever one you think there. See what we got. So this is at Dr. Dina Grayson. She's like, oh my God, even gas stations despise that real Donald Trump. Free gas any day Trump doesn't say something stupid. You know that they're
An
cashing in.
impossible task.
Yeah, there's no way that's ever going to happen.
What's great about that is gas prices are going up during his presidency.
Yeah, you know, isn't that like the whole thing? And remember when people were like all over that with Obama, like, oh, gas prices are going on. It's like, oh, stop it now.
Literally, like, you know, as just a normal citizen, if you just want to look at it as a blank slate, Trump gets into presidency, everything gets more expensive. He costs you fucking money.
But if
Like,
this,
the
he said the
very
other day, if this
basics.
stops thinking, everybody's going to be poor.
Right.
Yeah. For me, yeah. Not if his stops thinking. I don't know
Right.
what he's thinking anyway. But yeah, I'm old enough, by the way. My first gallon of gas that I bought was 98 cents a gallon.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm old enough to have said
You were at it under $1.
Back when the gallons came faster than the dollars.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. All right, what do we got next? This is at Real Pharmacist. A little shot of
awesome.
Michelle. An immigrant took my job. Wah, wah, wah. And she took it by chain migration.
Yeah.
She came in, she brought the parents over, she had an anchor baby. I mean, all the bad shit that Republicans hate about immigration that this dipshit wants to reform is how his wife and his kid and her parents are all citizens of the United States of America.
Jesus.
Unbelievable. He's got a thing with immigrants. Immigrant wives, not so much. What else we got?
Somewhere along the line, Melania had to be so good at convincing Trump that she really liked him that they stayed together.
That's not hard. You just blow them. It's not really that hard. Let's be honest. We're guys. We know the answer to that. So this is
supposedly,
and
they're getting a divorce.
Who's that?
Trump and Melania.
Oh, I know they're going to.
They have to.
She's got. I forget what the deal is. She's got the prenup.
She is way too marketable to stay with him for the last 10 years of his
Absolutely.
life.
She can make a living just off that stupid jacket she wore.
Oh, fuck.
What a dummy. So this is at the Dweck. Michael Avenatti running for president is like when an actor you like wants you to check out his band.
Nice.
Hashtag Bacon Brothers. She's right on the money, though. Thank you, at the Dweck. Oh, this is Aunt Krabby. Okay. She's at Dear Aunt Crab, and she's a pisser, man. She put this one out, which is the real Law and Order Party, and it's just a graph of like how many indictments,
fucking shit,
as compared to the presidencies of Republicans and Democrats over the last 30 years or so.
Yeah.
And look, you got Nixon on the bottom. He had 76 indictments and 55 pleas and convictions. 15 people went to prison.
Fucking shit.
Obama, you had 8 years in office, 0 indictments, 0 pleas and convictions, 0 prison sentences. Because, as much as he was an Arab with a Muslim who started ISIS and couldn't produce his birth certificate, he was a better person than the current president, who at 1.5 years in office has 48 indictments, 21 pleas and convictions, 1 prison sentence, and that's not even including...
Out of that entire list, Obama's the only one to interview federal inmates at a prison.
There you go.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and he's also the only one with the middle name Hussein.
Yeah.
That anybody could possibly like. Yep. All right, what do we got there? What else we got? We got a couple more, I think. Oh, so this is really interesting. So this is Steph DeBorn, at Steph DeBorn, and this is a graph of Australia's climate barcode from 1910 to 2017. So on the left is 1910, the right is 2017, and the blue indicates cold years, the red the warmest, and she says if there was no trend, the bars would be random. And as you can see, there's obviously a fucking trend.
You know what I mean? You can't, like, the climate's changing. Right. And to have a debate over that's like standing at the foot of an erupting volcano and being like, it's the plate tectonics.
No, it's God.
No, it's God. It doesn't matter. The volcano's erupting, you fucks.
Right.
Like,
as you evaporate from the lava hitting you.
The planet is getting hotter. Like
it's too true, man. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh well, the planet always goes through climate change. Yes, it does.
Right. So we have to help. We don't live.
Right.
Like we didn't make it through the ice age.
Right. The last couple times we almost got wiped out.
Right. Like it came down to like 80,000 humans.
Right.
And it took us another 10,000 years to get electricity back.
Here's my vote. Let's not do that again.
Yeah. Like
right.
Maybe
because I like air conditioning. I like having the internet. Right.
Like
I'd rather not be.
It's cool being in a modern society.
It's unbelievable. So I thought that was pretty interesting at Steph DeBorn. So let's see. This is at Breaks Maybe, and like all those great rock bands in the 80s, she spells Breaks with a Z at the end. At Breaks Maybe. And this is Under Me, it's now 2018. That's the highest number year on record because we all know how much Trump likes to have the biggest and the best. He's got to have a small cock. I mean, that's just the bottom line with this guy. Everything he does, it's like, oh, I took a shit, gold-plated. Look how great it is. It's just shit.
He doesn't even, like, that's the thing. Like, the size doesn't matter for him. It's the wallet. And it's
absolutely
the thing. Like, he doesn't even.
I'm like the healthiest president who's ever been in office while he's woofing like 3 Big Macs down at lunch. He's the smartest that's ever been in office. He's brilliant. He's got the best words. He's got, it's like, he's got the best of everything. He's such a great guy. So that was our tweets of the week. This past week, I had a little run-in on Twitter. There's a guy who's friends with Roger Stone. the Trump campaign advisor, and he's also
Nixon
friends with Julian Assange,
Yeah.
the WikiLeaks founder. His name is Randy Credico. Randy Credico is he was a failed stand-up comic. He's a sad clown. And he was basically a failed political operative as well. After he failed in comedy, he got into doing political stuff, trying to change. His big thing was trying to overturn what were called the Rockefeller drug laws in the state of New York. They were like basically punitive drug laws that wound up locking up an insane amount of black people.
Right.
You know, because if you're, like we said earlier, if you're rich, if you're white, even if you're upper middle class, there's no way you're ever going to go to jail for a
you
drug
make the
offense.
rules.
Right. It's just the way it goes. You get a lawyer because you can afford one, a good one, and you
win.
walk out.
Money
Right?
talks and bullshit.
You pick up garbage on the side of the fucking highway for a week, and then you're done.
good.
But black people go to jail for 5 years.
Yep.
So, he did that, and I guess at some point, that the people in America changed their mindset. Like when I was a kid, weed was such a big to do, and now it's like legal in most states.
It's in every commercial.
Right. So, people change, society changes.
Yeah.
We used to not like presidents who called people not heroes for getting shot down while defending their country. But somehow we've changed, and now we like guys that say that.
Right.
Or some people do. But, so at some point, people in New York got tired of having black people, thrown in jail for having a bag of weed in their pocket. And Randy takes credit for it. Anyway, I got into a thing with him. Ari Melber, the beat with Ari Melber on MSNBC, I wrote to Ari. I said, hey, look, if you give time to these jerk-offs anymore, I'm just going to have to tune out and not watch. I know you want to leave that to CNN.
Yeah.
Leave that for them to bring on like somebody who's so to the left and so to the right and have them, sit there and talk over each other. I don't find that entertaining.
No, it's not informative either.
Be who you are.
Yeah.
Fox is unabashedly who they are.
Yeah.
When you tune to Fox, you know the brand you're getting, and that's what you expect. And when you don't get it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So when I tune to MSNBC, I want to see what I'm expecting to see. When I don't see it, it's like, okay, man, I get it. You want to give some of these guys a voice. But don't give him a... He did an interview with Steve Bannon, was the impetus of this.
Right.
And I'm like, why would MSNBC give a national platform to this white nationalist cocksucker?
Right.
For what reason? What, he doesn't have Breitbart anymore?
He's fucking out of it.
Right.
He's not even relevant.
Right. So why give that fucking... I mean, the guy looks like a homeless person.
Yeah.
Dressed like a homeless person, though he was a top advisor to the President of the United States. I mean, looks like he's got the alcoholic's red nose. I mean, he looks like somebody's grumpy fucking dad.
Something's going on there. There's
Right.
some darkness in there.
He's a 2018 version of Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the bottom line. And why MSNBC would give him a platform. So Randy Credico, I said, why are you giving a platform to him? Why are you giving a platform to Roger Stone? Why are you giving a platform to guys like Randy Credico? Well, Randy Credico wrote me back.
Oh.
And he said, well, I'm gonna be on this Monday and Wednesday. I said, all right. I wrote him back. I'll be watching on Tuesday and Thursday. And so he responded and he said, well, they're gonna play highlights on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm sure. So why don't you read a book? And I said, all right. Well, I'm waiting for my copy of Unhinged. But I'm enjoying the audiobook in the meantime. Is that what they call it, an audiobook? When she goes on TV, Omarosa, and plays the tapes that she recorded? And then he gave me a link to the documentary that I sent you a link to called 60 Spins Around the Sun.
Yeah.
And it was by this comedian who became a director, female comedian.
Documentaries hit me.
Yeah.
Like that's a major hobby of mine. Like I have like one of my favorite filmmakers is Werner Herzog, and like documentaries, I'll watch at least a few a week.
Okay.
Like I'll watch YouTube shitty ones that are just obscene.
Sure.
I'll watch fucking alien documentaries, but
Right.
I'll also watch like real hard hitting ones that are well put together. Read, left, right, it doesn't
Right.
matter. I just like the art form, and like I like being informed that way. This one was rough. This one was fucking rough to watch.
I mean, just to watch him like bomb on the Tonight Show, the footage, getting Johnny waving him off fucking stage.
I've seen a lot of documentaries on former comedians, and this one just wasn't done well.
Right.
It does not paint a good picture.
So I wrote a little article about it. I put it in my blog. The blog that we have is It's Politics and Profanity at blogspot.com. You can check it out. I'm getting the website up. I'm building it right now. It's going to be at HeyRonnieWright.com. That's also my YouTube channel is YouTube. It's Hey Ronnie Wright. On Twitter, my handle is at Hey Ronnie Wright. So you could see the consistency growing here. So I wrote a thing about basically my interaction with him and watching that documentary and how really I don't give a fuck what you did in 1980 something.
Yeah.
If you're friends with Roger Stone and Julian Assange and you have information about Russian meddling or whatever in the election, then shut your fucking face, go to the grand jury. He got subpoenaed, so he has to go anyways. Go to the grand jury, tell them what you know, and be a good American.
Right.
And if you don't have anything that they need to know, then why are you on TV?
Yeah, just go away.
Right. Why do I care
Just
about
go
you?
away.
Why is anybody giving you a platform? So that was my interaction with Randy Credico. So you can check that out. We'll put the link below in the YouTube video. We also got a Patreon page, which again is also Patreon, Hey Ronnie Wright. We don't beg for money here. We usually just take it at gunpoint. But today I'm going to say to you, if you enjoy the show, if you'd like to become a fan, it will get you into all the exclusive stuff going forward and get you into all the VIP nonsense that we're going to be doing in the future. You can also check us out on HowardBroadcasting.com, which is back in the studio at Howard Broadcasting, the headquarters here in South Florida. And you can check out Justin's solo show, Mission Accomplished, which is also on Howard Broadcasting. And Ryan, when you getting your show, man?
Ryan's the co-host of my show because
Yeah, I just kind of am in every show.
yeah,
Gotcha. You're one of those guys.
he's the standard.
Yeah.
You're like the guy who does
Ties it all together.
You're like the guy who does the movie trailers.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
in every movie. It doesn't matter.
In a time of discontent.
Yeah, I'm the backup, like, I'm in the behind the scenes.
Okay.
When anything goes wrong, I got to fix it.
No, what goes wrong here? We're all fucking complete professionals. We've got the best equipment that money can buy, as long as money is a credit card at 21.9% financing. What could go?
Well, Justin's actually a robot.
Yeah.
And I got to, turn him off and on again every once in a while.
I understand. Yeah, you gotta catch him from drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I drift around a little bit, but for the most part, I do my homework. So I come.
I write things too occasionally.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it's always good to keep it straight. So, I mean, in the past, I've done some grandiose closes, and I'm not going to do that today because we're going to try and do something different. This is the new rebranding of the Middle podcast, and we thank everybody for tuning in. Basically, this week was a complete shit show for America.
It's going to get worse with
Yeah.
the midterms coming up too.
It's going to get worse. It's the longer that the party in power resists acknowledging that they're being complicit in bringing down our own republic, the closer we'll get to having our republic fade away. And it counts for people to go out and vote, although your choices are decidedly limited. But in this instance, there is no alternative except for the alternative, which is Republicans are in power and won't acknowledge what's going on. So the only people who could possibly put on a cape and maybe come to our rescue are the Democrats. So whatever your political leaning, if you don't like what you're hearing and what you're seeing at the top, make sure that you go out and you vote. If you're not registered to vote, what are you, a fucking moron? Go out and register to vote. It's fucking easy these days. And then make sure that you actually do it. And if you're a lazy fuck, which let's be honest, a lot of us are, you can go ahead and do it by mail. So they can literally send you the ballot. I mean, look, you
Why
do
can't we
have to
do
put
it
a stamp
online
on
yet?
it.
Like, we should it has to go online eventually.
I'm one of those guys who's going to say, based on the things that are going on in this day and
You
age,
don't want to take that risk.
having the paper is a lot better than doing the. Yes,
There's
it's
a certain
convenient,
amount of responsibility in buying a stamp. That's like the qualifying factor.
and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So if you're so lazy that the only way you'll vote is if I make it an app on your iPhone,
That's an issue.
I don't want
need
you
your
voting.
vote.
Right? You're not qualified to vote.
Right.
I mean, there is no poll tax and there is
we
no
gotta
test.
make it somewhat like not difficult, but there has to be a step that requires your brain.
Right. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you have to get to the goodness of the cookies, you have to open the box.
Right. Don't
There's
eat the
no
package.
other way around it.
Right.
To get to the Cheetos, the bag must be opened. You have to do it. So if you and Cheetos, I like when people call him the Cheeto because he's fucking orange.
fucking
I'm sure people just
orange.
stop telling him, like, dude, it just doesn't look good. You look orange. you look like a raccoon. You're not fooling anybody.
Like in
Everybody
the
knows you're
wall
getting
of
a.
the presidents. It's like white, dark, orange.
Yeah, I know,
What
right?
the fuck
Right.
happened?
We had our first black president, and then we had our first orange president. We're equal
Shit.
opportunity here in America. But go out and register to vote. Vote if you are registered. Try and do the right thing because before it gets out of hand, before I start begging Canada to invade, please help us and do the right thing and vote.
Justin, we need help down here.
Exactly. So please go and do that. For Justin, for Ryan, for everybody here at Howard Broadcasting, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out. This is The Middle, Politics, and Fucking Profanity. We'll see you next time.
States are out of suicide. I know